Caitlin Clark has been dominating headlines, arenas, and sponsorship deals, but it wasn't until Adam Silver praised her unprecedented reach that her status truly hit a new level. His remarks didn't just echo fan sentiment. They exposed a sharp contrast between what she represents and how little the WNBA has capitalized on it. While her individual endorsements from Nike and Gatorade soar and her name headlines media outside basketball entirely, the league's conservative approach has stunted what could already be a global branding juggernaut.
If you're here for the real story and not the filtered version, subscribe. And if you're sticking around for the next meltdown, you better definitely subscribe.
Silver's comment served not just as praise, but as a challenge. That challenge now sits squarely with WNBA leadership. Clark's success proves that the ceiling for women's basketball is higher than ever, if only the league embraces it. At 22, she's already an international figure with market value that dwarfs her WNBA salary. Her crossover appeal isn't potential, it's proven. Silver's spotlight strips away excuses and demands a new era of strategy. One where the league stops underestimating its most powerful asset and starts building the future around her. Adam Silver said what the WNBA has been too afraid to say out loud. Caitlin Clark is the global face of women's basketball, and it's time to stop pretending otherwise. In a public statement that sent shockwaves through both the NBA and WNBA worlds, Silver didn't just praise Clark's influence. He validated it. He confirmed, in clear and calculated words, that she's not just a local fan favorite or a rising rookie. She's an international phenomenon, a generational force. And whether the WNBA is ready to embrace it or not, the rest of the world already has. This wasn't just a glowing remark from a commissioner. This was a pivot point. Silver's comments were prompted by growing frustration. Frustration from fans, from sponsors, and from media outlets who've all been watching Clark's meteoric rise while the league that employs her continues to underplay her role. The backlash was loud. The WNBA's handling of Clark's first season, between lackluster promotions, uneven media coverage, and internal tension, hasn't just felled off. It's looked deliberate. And Adam Silver stepping in publicly, that broke the silence. And let's be clear, he didn't owe Clark anything. She doesn't play in his league. She's not on his payroll. But Silver understands something the WNBA has failed to grasp. When you have a star who moves culture, who draws unprecedented attention, who boosts your entire sport's visibility, you don't hesitate. You build around her. You promote her relentlessly. You make her the engine of growth. That's how the NBA became what it is. And that's exactly what the WNBA is missing right now. Clark's numbers speak louder than any press conference. Her jersey sales have broken records. She's led TV ratings in nearly every game she's played. She's single-handedly increased the marketability of the Indiana Fever, turning them from a rebuilding team into a revenue-driving franchise overnight. And she hasn't even hit her prime. Add in her endorsement deals. Nike, Gatorade, Wilson, and the picture becomes undeniable. With earnings now over $16 million, Clark is the only female athlete from a team sport ranked in the global top 10 for highest-paid women in sports. Not because of WNBA's salary, because of her brand, her marketability. And yet, the WNBA hasn't matched that energy. While her sponsors are pushing her face on billboards, commercials, and campaigns, the league itself has taken a cautious, almost reluctant approach. Instead of leaning into her crossover appeal and her historic momentum, they've tried to spread the spotlight. Keep things equal. Maintain balance. But this isn't the time for balance. It's the time for boldness. The NBA never hesitated to put the full marketing machine behind its biggest stars. LeBron, Steph, KD, every single one was treated as the future before they had time to ask for it. The league understood that star power drives everything. Fans don't connect with balance sheets. They connect with stories, with faces, with players who make them feel something. Clark is already that player. She's not just appealing to basketball diehards. She's bringing in casual fans. She's pulling in viewers from other sports. She's headlining events like celebrity golf tournaments and drawing eyes from industries that previously didn't give women's basketball the time of day. That's crossover power. That's the kind of reach that marketing departments dream about. And it's happening with very little help from the league itself. So when Adam Silver steps up and delivers a full-throated, unprompted endorsement of Clark's global significance, it doesn't just elevate her. It exposes the silence surrounding her within the WNBA for what it is, an ongoing failure to capitalize on the most marketable athlete the league has ever seen. It's not just a missed opportunity. It's a strategic mistake, because every day the WNBA hesitates to build around Clark, someone else is doing it for them. Her sponsors are all in. Her fans are fully engaged. The media is giving her front-page treatment. The NBA is publicly acknowledging her reach. And the WNBA? Still stuck in neutral. The numbers are clear. The audience is there. The hype is sustained. Even after injuries limited her minutes, even after controversy swirled around how she was being treated on the court, her value increased. That's not normal. That's not hype. That's brand strength. And it's rare. This isn't about giving her special treatment. It's about aligning with reality. The reality is that Clark is already functioning as the face of the league. She's the reason people are watching. She's the reason new fans are engaging. She's not just lifting herself. She's lifting everyone around her. The ratings don't lie. The revenue doesn't lie. The global response doesn't lie. And yet, the WNBA seems afraid to own it. Afraid to build the narrative around her. Afraid to name her as the flagship. Afraid of what the optics might be if they fully embrace the fact that their youngest player is also their most important. But if the goal is to grow women's basketball, then that fear has to, because Clark is the growth strategy. She's the one generating headlines. She's the one who gets fans in the door. She's the one whose name is on jerseys, in commercials, on every highlight reel. That's not favoritism. That's facts. And Adam Silver simply confirmed what everyone already knew. She's not just good for the WNBA. She's essential. She's not just a star in the league. She's a star above the league. She's the first real chance the WNBA has had in decades to become a mainstream entity. And that window doesn't stay open. Silver's comments may have been framed as praise, but they landed more like an intervention. A reminder that the league has a responsibility to elevate its stars, not stifle them. To lead with vision, not fear. Caitlin Clark is 22. She has at least a decade of dominance ahead of her. If the WNBA gets this right, she'll take the sport to places it's never been. But if they keep playing it safe, try to avoid ruffling feathers, they'll miss the most obvious opportunity that's ever been handed to them. And no one will forget who fumbled it. So what do you think? Is Adam Silver right to step in and say what needed to be said? Should the WNBA finally go all in on Caitlin Clark's star power? Or is the league still stuck in the past? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you're tired of watching leagues waste generational talent. And subscribe for more unfiltered takes on the power plays shaping the future of sports. Because when the NBA commissioner has to be the one to recognize your star before you do, it's time to ask some serious questions. And we're not looking away. Let's get something straight. This wasn't just a public apology. What Adam Silver did was break the silence that had been growing louder by the day. And in doing so, he exposed the tension at the heart of the WNBA's current identity crisis. Because when the commissioner of the NBA, the biggest, most profitable basketball league in the world, goes out of his way to acknowledge Caitlin Clark's global impact, it's not a casual comment. It's a correction. And that correction wasn't directed at fans or media or even Clark herself. It was directed at the WNBA. It was the most public, most undeniable signal that the league is playing this all wrong. 4 months now, people have watched in real time as Caitlin Clark dragged the league into a new era, while the league barely held the door open for her. It started with the record-breaking college ratings, the historic jersey sales, the sold-out WNBA arenas filled with people not wearing the home teams. It continued with Clark landing endorsements with Nike, Gatorade, and Wilson, major brands investing in her as if she were already a franchise unto herself. Because she is. And while all of that was happening, the WNBA was slow-walking its support, reluctant to make her the face, almost hesitant to market her like the generational star she clearly is. And now, After weeks of mounting pressure and public backlash, Adam Silver said the quiet part out loud. Caitlin Clark is not just a rising star. She's not just a rookie. She is a full-fledged global phenomenon. The most impactful player to hit women's basketball in decades. And the league that should be embracing her has been dragging its feet. Let's not sugarcoat it. This is a leadership failure. Clark's value has been proven in every measurable way. TV ratings, attendance, social media reach, merchandise sales, brand deals, cross-industry recognition. She's the only team sport female athlete to crack the top 10 of highest-paid women in sports globally. And she did it as a rookie, with most of her income coming from endorsements, not her WNBA salary. That's not just impressive, it's historic. So why does it feel like she's still fighting for legitimacy within her own league? Clark's brand is so strong that her earnings jumped from $11 million to $16 million despite playing limited minutes due to injuries. Let that sink in. She was off the court, and her market value still rose. That doesn't happen unless your influence transcends the game itself. She is what every league dreams about, crossover appeal. She's showing up at golf tournaments on national broadcasts. She's getting booked outside of sports. She's not just a basketball player. She's a media asset, a cultural bridge. She's drawing new fans into the sport who never paid attention before. That kind of star power is what the NBA has spent decades cultivating. And that's exactly why Adam Silver stepped in. He's seen this before. He's seen how marketing around one player, when done right, can elevate an entire league. He saw it with Michael Jordan, with LeBron, with Steph Curry. These weren't just players, they were icons. And the league didn't hesitate. It didn't balance screen time. It didn't downplay their roles. It maximized them. Because when you have someone with that kind of presence, you build the league around. The WNBA, on the other hand, seems stuck in a cycle of hesitation. They're treating Clark like a hot topic instead of a long-term investment. They're prioritizing equality in media coverage over seizing a once-in-a-generation opportunity to grow the entire sport. But this isn't about fairness, it's about scale. And Caitlin Clark is the scale. Let's be honest, the energy from the league hasn't matched the moment. While fans are showing up in droves, the league is still acting like they're not sure if she deserves the spotlight. And what message does that send? Because from the outside, it looks like this. The player generating the most attention, the most income, the most growth is being treated like an inconvenience. Not just bad strategy. That's self-sabotage. The NBA has never made that mistake. Adam Silver knows that leagues thrive when they elevate, not when they hesitate. And his public remarks about Clark weren't just praise, they were pressure. Public pressure on the WNBA to stop waiting and start acting. To stop ignoring what's happening right in front of them. To stop downplaying the one player who is carrying the sport into new territory. Because let's be real, Clark doesn't need the WNBA to validate her. She's already being validated by the market, by the fans, by the culture, but the league needs her. Badly. Clark is the only player in the league who can make every single arena a media event. She's the reason people are tuning in. She's the reason general audiences are finally paying attention. She is the catalyst, whether the league wants to admit it or not. And the longer they resist that fact, the more opportunity they waste. Every major growth leap in sports history has come when leagues leaned into their stars. The NFL built entire seasons around Brady and Mahomes. The NBA structured eras around Jordan and LeBron. Women's tennis exploded globally because of Serena. And yet, the WNBA, given its first real shot at a marketing juggernaut, has done nothing close to that. They're still spreading the spotlight thin, afraid of how it might look if they go all in on Clark. But that's not how sports work, and it's definitely not how growth works. Growth doesn't happen through balance. It happens through dominance. You don't attract new fans by telling them, here's 10 good players to follow. You get them in the door by saying, watch this one. Caitlin Clark is that one. Adam Silver's words were a wake-up call, a public reminder that the game is changing. That Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's a movement. And you can't gatekeep a movement. You either get out in front of it or get left behind. The WNBA has a choice right now. Embrace the change, elevate the player, and take the sport to new heights, or keep playing small and watch this moment pass them by. Because the truth is, Clark isn't going to wait. She's too big, too valuable, too impactful to be held back by politics, insecurities, or internal resistance. If the league can't keep up, she'll transcend it. What Adam Silver did wasn't a soft PR moment or some vague gesture of solidarity. It was a public correction of everything the WNBA has mishandled so far when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And it needed to happen. For weeks, no months, the tension has been boiling over. Fans have watched Clark rise as the undisputed face of women's basketball, while the WNBA refuses to promote her like it. The league's marketing has been uneven. The media strategy? Confused. The overall vibe? Like they're afraid of their own success. And then comes Adam Silver, not the WNBA commissioner, standing in front of cameras, addressing the backlash, and doing what the league's leadership wouldn't. Validating Caitlin Clark's global impact, her generational status, and her unmatched marketability. Let's be clear, this was never about whether Clark was good enough. That conversation was over the moment she stepped into the league and broke viewership records with her first few games. It was over when arenas started filling up because she was in town, when TV networks adjusted programming around her schedule, when merchandise with her name sold out before she even played a professional minute. The numbers did the talking. Silver just confirmed what the WNBA refused to say outright. And the fact that it took him to say it? That's the real issue. Silver's praise wasn't just acknowledgement. It was a subtle rebuke of a system that continues to underutilize its most valuable player. He understands what's at stake. He's run a league that's built billion-dollar brands around individual stars. He knows what it means to lean into a narrative. He knows how to build a sport around an icon. He knows Clark is that icon. And when the NBA commissioner is more vocal about your own superstar than the league she plays in, it tells the world exactly who's paying attention and who's asleep at the wheel. Let's talk about why this moment mattered so much. Clark isn't just an elite athlete. She's a media magnet, a revenue driver, a marketing powerhouse. She has global recognition at age 22, with brand deals that most male athletes would kill for. Her earnings are sitting at over $16 million, and that's with a WNBA salary that's barely six figures. Her market value is doing the heavy lifting, and yet the WNBA continues to sideline her, not physically, but narratively. While her sponsors are launching national ad campaigns, the league is still sharing the spotlight with players who, quite frankly, don't move numbers the same way. Not because they aren't talented, but because they don't have the same cultural pull. And that's not a bad thing. It's just the reality of marketing. One star breaks through, and they become the growth engine. The NBA knows this. They did it with MJ. They did it with Kobe, with LeBron, with Steph. They didn't hold back out of fear of upsetting the rest of the league. They built around them, and the rising tide lifted everyone. That's the blueprint. And right now, the WNBA is ignoring it. Clark brings something that no amount of strategy meetings or equity plans can produce: organic, undeniable fan demand. She's bringing in fans who've never watched women's basketball before. She's getting coverage on networks that don't typically air WNBA content. She's trending in spaces far outside the sport. That's not just a moment. That's movement. That's shift. And instead of riding that wave, the WNBA is caught in a cycle of overcorrection, worried about giving her too much attention, scared of the optics, hesitant to crown her when she's only a rookie. But here's the truth. She already is the face of the league. Whether they say it or not, whether they promote it or not, whether they like it or not. And Adam Silver saying it out loud made that fact undeniable. So now the WNBA has a decision to make. They can continue to downplay the most bankable star they've ever had, or they can pivot aggressively and finally give Clark the platform that everyone else already has. The question is no longer, should we market Caitlin Clark? The question is, how much ground have we already lost by waiting? Because if this moment slips through their fingers, there won't be another one like it anytime soon. These kinds of athletes don't come along every year. or even every decade. Clark's crossover appeal, her brand magnetism, her media poise, and her performance, all of it adds up to something bigger than any single stat sheet. She's not just the best rookie. She's the biggest name in women's basketball. Full stop. And she's not slowing down. Even when she's injured or not playing a full 40 minutes, she's still the headline. She's still the reason fans are showing up. Still the name trending. Still the jersey flying off shelves. So when you look at the silence from WNBA leadership, it starts to feel less like strategy and more like insecurity. A fear of disruption. But history tells us the opposite. When you fully embrace a star, the entire sport grows. LeBron didn't shrink the NBA, he expanded it. Serena didn't dominate tennis coverage at the expense of others. She made tennis mainstream again. Simone Biles didn't erase other gymnasts. She redefined the sport. And now, Caitlin Clark has that same potential. She's not here to overshadow anyone. She's here to elevate the game. So what's the league waiting for? Are they afraid of backlash from veteran players? Are they worried about appearing to favor a new face? Are they stuck in a mindset that fears celebrating one athlete too loudly? If so, they're learning the wrong lessons from history. Because the moment Adam Silver spoke, the debate ended. He is the top of the basketball hierarchy. He understands market trends, revenue models, global expansion. And he just endorsed Caitlin Clark as the league's most important asset. The only thing left now is what the WNBA does with that validation. Will they embrace it? Or will they continue treating Clark like she's a problem to manage instead of a phenomenon to unleash? Every day they hesitate, they waste momentum, they leave money on the table, they stunt the league's growth. And eventually, the public notices not just the fans who watch every game, but the new viewers Clark has brought in. The casual fans who are wondering why the league isn't matching the energy of the brands, the media, and the audience. That gap is growing, and Adam Silver just drew a line in the sand. So, where does the WNBA stand? Because the next time the league gets this kind of global attention, it might not be so generous. And if they let this moment slip, it won't be Caitlin Clark who loses. It'll be the league that refused to get out of its own way. Let us know what you think. Was Silver's public praise long overdue? Should the WNBA stop holding back and give Clark the full spotlight she's earned? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Like the video if you're tired of watching leagues waste talent. And hit subscribe so you don't miss the next chapter in the evolution or the missteps of this story. Because when a generational star changes the game, you either build with her or get left behind. And right now, the clock is ticking.